Okay, so on to our weekly update for Bitcoin and all of the crypto majors. Okay, so really since last week, not really much has happened. We've had a lot of low volume, a lot of sort of like a few fake outs to the upside and to the downside, and really we're just grinding our way down, but still staying in the same range of between 45.5 to 52,500, and nothing's changed on the macro scale where we've basically been creating higher highs and higher lows. So I still think our bias needs to be to the upside unless we basically, like I said, this low here at that 42 and really 40k is that last stand. Okay, if we break that, then we can look for downside targets of, somewhere towards 30. But at the moment, we're doing much of the same of what we have been doing, where we have essentially, been grinding along this trend line over here, and I would not be surprised for us to attack somewhere down into here. Maybe we grind down into this trend line over here, maybe take out some stops and some of the resting liquidity below this 45k level. Okay, so don't be surprised about that. So for that happening in the next few weeks or so. I do think there is also a reasonable chance that we can come down and retest some of these lows at the 42k region, and we can see how we react there. Okay, last week we did speculate that we are looking to move to the upside fairly soon, so expect to move to the upside. We got that move to 52, not quite to 53 where we were talking about, but really we fell apart and we said, hey, look, anything below 48k, if we do break down from that pattern that we drew out last week, then it would be time to get neutral, which I will show you. We had a look was this pattern over here, where essentially we broke out, had this nice little retest, tried to basically go above this range high at 52, couldn't break it, and that's essentially we moved down here. So that's why we're basically really BTC is in no man's land, where it's basically made this big move down, but it's just moving sideways. It's not telling you that it wants to move higher, it's not telling you it wants to move lower. There's no really good opportunities, to be honest with you, to go long or short unless you want to be adding to your spot bags for the long term, which I think is perfectly fine. But essentially, we're grinding down here. Maybe look for a test of these lower levels over here as the market probably starts to pick up with everyone coming back into the market in January with a little bit more volume coming in. Okay, so that's essentially what we're seeing. But like I said, below some key moving averages on the daily, below the 21, and we had this retest over here on the weekly 21 EMA, which is our weekly momentum indicator, and we can see we retested that, which is coincides with that range of 52. Couldn't really break above it this time. So typically when we are below the 21 and we close below it for a week or two, we do tend to basically loiter around this area until we can basically come up and retest and hopefully hold it as support. So that's basically that. So maybe just give it, wait around a little bit just to see what BTC is doing in the next week or two. But I do expect this to be resolved in the next, it might sound a bit broad, but somewhere between the next 2 to 4, maybe 2 to 6 weeks. But this pattern does look fairly similar, in all honesty, to this pattern over here, where we essentially got this big move down, and we got here, it's almost like the same thing but on a smaller scale. And we've basically tried to retest this high over here, same sort of thing. And I think here we also got rejected at the weekly 21 or somewhere close to, somewhere close to that region over there. And then maybe now, we saw this further selling from that region, but maybe we basically just reaccumulate and still tend to grind down. Maybe we do take out some of these lows and we dip into this area over here before we move up. But like I said, I still think that given the move that we've had in the last few weeks, I am expecting still, the bias to be to the upside when this does resolve. But if we do break this, then basically time to get neutral. If we get any big closes below this 39k level, 40k level, and we can look for 30. Another thing to look out for is essentially the DXY is actually having a good start to the week. Okay, we want to typically see the DXY, the Dixie, start to grind down and maybe correct and move a little bit lower, which tends to be something that's favorable for Bitcoin. But today, still in this consolidation phase. at about that $96 to $97 region. So yeah, so long as the Dixie remains strong, I imagine that will put some pressure on BTC, okay, moving forward. But you know, just having a look at some of the other majors in the market, there are a few opportunities which I do see. So if you are looking to speculate, or you know, looking at some of the other top coins in the majors, if we look at Binance, we're actually at some key weekly support over here, where we've got this weekly block where we flip this as resistance, now using it as support around the $500 level. So you know, quite potential that even if BTC ranges at current prices, we might see some kind of surge or ping up to about the $600 mark, maybe attack some of these upper wicks up here. So something to look out for on BNB. Major support over here, still basically in this ascending triangle for BNB, right? DOT still looking pretty good. We've actually broken out of this trend line over here and come down, retested it. So maybe DOT has some maybe further room to move to the upside and maybe start to attack the region of about that $38-40 and sort of see how we react there as that next you know, zone of major resistance. Also, I was looking at, I think we spoke about Link a little bit earlier in the day. I think this is probably the best buy for the week and probably for the macro, because we're actually at massive macro support on all charts, really. I think we spoke about this in our video yesterday, where we said we're at this massive $15 weekly support. The Link BTC chart is also at weekly support, heavy weekly support, and even Link ETH, which has been bleeding down super heavy, is still coming into this cluster of price range over here. So just look for this area, okay, to be an area where Link might bounce from. And actually this week we started pretty well for Link. So let's see if we can get some continued momentum moving to the upside, and that's pretty much the main ones that we're looking at. Okay, so yeah, so look out for some of those major coins, but look for a break for BTC in the next 2 to 4 weeks is what I would expect, before we can get a resolution from this current consolidation pattern for Bitcoin. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a like down below, share it, comment down below, let me know where you think BTC is headed in the next few weeks and how you're feeling for 2022. Other than that, peace out. I'll catch you in the next video.